Hi guys, welcome to today's video. This is the log for the 25th of the 1st, 2020. Today was more of interesting conversations. I had two major conversations with people. The first one, very informal in a sense of, opened with the classic line, and she's like, "That's really odd that you would say that to me." And I was like, "Why?" And she wouldn't explain why for a long conversation. So I got to have this lovely chat with this kind of atheist, kind of agnostic kind of gal who told me about suicide attempts that she'd had and she'd survived, and she told me about some person, someone had prayed for her foot while she was in a moon boot and suddenly it miraculously healed, which I think is pretty cool, even though I'm not too into healings. So she thought that was a really interesting thing that occurred to her. But throughout this conversation, she just keeps mentioning again and again, like, "Oh, that's really odd that you would ask me that question." Like, that's really odd and stuff like that. And so we kind of worked our way through, well, what does God think of her, and why is she in trouble, and what does she need to help save her? And she was really interested in reading a tract right in front of me. But eventually I got to find out that she was planning to commit suicide later that night. And early in the night I just kept getting frustrated because I'm like, I can't get into like a long conversation. I don't know why I can't get into a long conversation. I just can't keep getting into one. And I think it was like she was there, like I'd been there for like 40 minutes and still hadn't gotten into a solid conversation, and yet she was there. And so we had like this very, very long, I'm talking like 2-hour level long conversation about stuff like that, about her family, about healthcare in the current state, but most importantly about what does she think happens when she dies. And so got a number, so hopefully we'll get to chat again. But I insisted, don't take your life until you know where you're going next. And she's like, "No, I don't think I will after this conversation." And yeah, the fact that she was planning to do it later that night, she'd even bought a little calligraphy present for her partner and her son. Had bought this calligraphy set present for them to give, and then would later depart that night, she said to me. And so that was very heartbreaking in a way, but very powerful. The second really big conversation I had was with a medium and her daughter, and they kind of believed in the whole idea of once you die, it's just love, and that's it. And she cited every time that she'd interacted with stuff on the other side of the veil that was the conclusion that she had been left at. And so I found that very intriguing. Just love, just compassion, and you kind of just look over your life, and it almost sounded a little bit reincarnation at times. And I peppered her with questions about reincarnation, but then she talked about how there was some scientific studies about people in their past lives and stuff like that, and I'm always like, about that, because I know people can make up a lot of things, and people are deceptive when they might have some reason to be, and stuff like that. So that was a long conversation. I really emphasize the difference between love and justice, because the love that she described was a compassion without limits, and I described a love through justice. I talked to her how if God is good, then if God is loving, he'll love what is good, and therefore naturally he'll hate what is evil. In fact, he'll punish that justly. And she was like, no, it's all about compassion, man, and stuff like that, which I found was kind of funny. But she was creating a worldview where she didn't actually need to receive any punishment. She knew she had done wrong, but she didn't want to receive the punishment for it, and she wasn't willing to admit her situation, and in a sense would be unreceptive to the gospel of Christ. But I did get to mention it. We went through their standing before God, really emphasize the difference between religions again. We'd keep going back to that whole idea of the karma-based system in a sense. So kept going back to that. She really got the idea, like, yeah, you know. So that was a great chat, and that went for a long one as well. But I think those are all for today. So thanks for watching.